Hey, muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. And as always, muchísimas gracias to everyone for your guys' words, prayers, your tolerance, and your amazing support. I could say it with words, but do know that I appreciate every one of you. Just got off the live, and you guys take me to a place of peace, and like I stated in the live, it's just something real big with me, right? Peace. I always say it, and I'm tonto with palabras, but you guys take me out of that negative bubble, right? So I appreciate every one of you. Gracias. Now to get into the story on hand. Well, today I want to touch on a personal experience that relates to something that occurred recently, right? And a misled thing that's been out, right? Which is the visiting incident, right? So for this, I'm going to take you back to Ironwood, right? I had, I don't know, a month or two in the position, and, even though the Jardín belonged to Terco and the Mesa system was still not applied, it was still a southern institution. If you were smart, it's a Ramfla trip, so if there's somebody in that Ramfla that could, direct that section without you or them feeling you're overstepping your boundaries because it's big, that said trip is for real there, then it's just wise to do it as long as, they bring in whatever they bring in or they do what they're going to do. They respect the one that the Jardín belongs to. It was Terco, right? But I want to concentrate on Raccoon from Southside 18. He was, well, he had me by some years, right? Maybe he's in his 50s now. Or, well, he had me by some years, right? But, he was a good homie. He presented himself as so, right? Raccoon from Southside 18, and even though I'm aware of the rules and regulations of Sureño and cities, neighborhoods, the N-words, I would be guessing, right? Because I'm a Sureño from Northern California, so, you know, but nevertheless, he was real good with the homies from South Central, so I'm assuming in that area, right? But nevertheless, he was in touch with Güero Caballo, and they were doing their thing, right? Everybody from 18, Spanky, from West Side, Spike, and that was a lot of homies, from 18. 18 was deep, but anyways, when I got or was giving Clecha right back in Quilmas from Raul, that's one of the things he concentrated on telling me, which was I was a hothead, right? I was a type where literally whatever, whatever you guys can imagine, bad luck, I felt they lifted their tone. In Quilmas, I was near the shower days, bird bath, came out suited and booted and ran up in somebody's cell, And as you guys know my story, within time, R came out, and basically that was the only way I was gonna listen to him, cause, I felt I was a dumb kid, right? And I felt when somebody tried to get at you, they were trying to punk me, so you can best believe we couldn't lock it up. It didn't matter the age, right? It just, I had a dumb mentality, right? Which again, he guided me from not crashing, right? So he told me many times, right? It don't matter how much a hothead or how much you want to prove yourself visiting in the place. Don't matter if you see a fool that's a snitch. Whatever, you can reach him, but there's family and kids out there, you leave it alone. And he expressed how there's been many times where Billys have been able to wiggle out of that moment, but it was a career ending decision, right? To act in a negative way when it came to visiting. It was not the place, period, right? So I always held that to heart. Again, I just want to put some back on that, right? When I started hearing this. And why I believe an old timer as Caballo, he knows better than to do a compulsive reaction like that, that after so many years is gonna crack that the window for him to get politic on, right? Unless he's gonna put one of them Tecato moves, which is he makes someone do it, and then at the back, at the end of the day, excuse me, he plays a fifth, right? That he don't know, whatever. But I doubt it, right? Cause again, they're not alone on the yard, so it's real easy to, a veterano like that ain't gonna leave loose strings, I know if I'm making myself sense, but anyways, Raccoon, they were doing their thing tough again. And whenever they did their things, to be sincere, even though I was requested by Terco to, hey, before you check them globals out, let me see how many globals there are and how many globals contain, so you're able to bring to the table the proper thing, right? I never felt that impulse of stating I was this, and that, right? We were campoleros, we were sureños, and we should respect each other, right? At least if you were in the wiggle, in the movement. So whenever he went out there, did his thing, he would always tell me like, "Hey, homie, you wanna come in?" And I tell him, "Nah, how much you bring in? Tanto, all right." Then de ahí lo de tea and don't trip, you know. I always took the homie's word for it. He's been around. He was sending caballo and tea, and that's all. That's all. That was my business, right? Don't cause problems on the yard. Don't mess with other races, so that it don't turn out as a disrespect thing. And we're cool. Do your thing, right? But the thing was, again, there was a lot of homies, a lot of homies. But there was this other individual from, I believe he was from East Side 18, if I'm not mistaken. What was this fool's name? Chato. Chato, but I believe it was Little Chato, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, the homie Chato, he was young, right? I think it was his only pinta from reception, and I was that individual, that young, tonto individual that felt some type of way because somebody tried to give you clecha, right? Just had that YA mentality, and where, I ain't no chump type of thing, which is wrong, right? Especially in a surrounding where everything is dictated by rules and regulations, right? And definitely not being a man about handling your business on your own like other places. That ain't one. So, anyways, this little homie, he had that chip on his shoulder, as I'm mentioning, and he started getting high, right? For whatever reason, I remember I told Raccoon, hey, I was young, first termer, ya lo traen bien acá. Cuida tus homies. But I will never understand that, that said trip, even amongst one's own neighborhood, right? Get south side, east side, west side, north side, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's 18th Street, right? But, anyways, so the vato got strung out. I guess in the beginning, it's how it always goes, right? There's a saying that says, everyone has a different start in everything. But when you start something that's well known, everybody ends the same. There's no different ending. For example, when we talk about Tecatos, yeah, some might go longer than others. And however they got started using on their wear, whatever, that's their story. Your money is good in the beginning, then your family gets tired. Or a girl that might be supporting you, your homeboys, it gets old. Especially when you have double numbers as a sentence, right? But his money was good, was always there on time, and within time he started owing. Typical. Then clocking his stuff. And it was none of my business, right? If it would have been like in a different prison where we literally have to lace up camaradas, or they're being knuckleheads like that, you just remove them yourself, right? Don't allow that to spread poison amongst other homies, right? But in this Pinta, right, like I mentioned, it was more cars took care of their own car, right, to avoid problems. So there was a lot of older homies from 18 in them. I felt when I took a lap with the homies, for whatever reason, I bring it up in conversation like camaradas. But if he decided to leave it alone, it was nothing I could say, right? But respect. So after a while, the vato, he started not buying from his fla, tiptoeing around his own homeboys on the yard, cause that's what dolphins do, right? At the end of the day, to be sincere, a dolphin would rather get his butt kicked or get stealing him than having to face not having to put that vitamina. That's a bigger problem than the rest, right? And it happens time and time again. I met a lot of camaradas that went in with the strong haired solalos, you know, upholded their guidelines when it came to feria, putting in work, and they let time get to them, so they start doing what they seen toward other gente, right? Anyways, for a while, Spooky was asking, I'm Spooky. Yeah, Spooky and Raccoon. Spooky from 18th Street, Pelirrojo, Spooky from West Side 18, and Spike was a knucklehead, and the homie Raccoon, they wanted to whack the youngster, right? And there were certain things happening on the yard, right? They had to put it on hold. For those that don't know, but there was issues happening on the yard when it came to some big issues, right? Which was with the Billy's brother being Tururu and being on the yard, and which I will touch on. But nevertheless, if it got left open like that and he was able to walk off, it was gonna be first and foremost my butt. Because at the time it was Mosca would have not let it go. But nevertheless, it was agreed to pass an appeal down to the bloqueros and address them that the young homie Chato didn't have it coming from no angle. Even if he came with the money up front, whoever sold to him was gonna get that 13. And so anyways, the day came when the homie Weasel and Raccoon and Spike and Spanky, they all went out to visit as the little homie Chato, and they were having their visit again. Again, the little vato, I don't know where he thought he was at, where he thought that being in a prison yard, right, just for being in a different block, he could hide from his own gunflower, especially when he owed feria. So Raccoon, the end of the day, he has to answer up for it, right? Don't know his ends when it came to getting it, if it came from Weddle or how he was doing this thing with him, right? But I guess Raccoon weaseled out too. I mean, Raccoon weenie out in the form that I don't know what went through the homie's head, because he's been there, done that, right? But he confronted the little vato's mom and sister and told him that dude owed him, that he did not want to hurt him. I mean, come on, you tell a jefita this. They're not part of it. What do you think they're gonna do? The minute they walk out of visiting, right? They're gonna tell the Judas, because they're scared of the family member, right? So this is addressed. The yard goes on lockdown, pending investigation. Again, it couldn't have happened, right? For under our angle, we were to do whatever it means to allow this to go down before any type of conflict. Nevertheless, it happened. And on lockdown, the first person I got was, a tease third party, and I requested to know the action, right? I already knew, but regardless, I wasn't gonna jump the gun and take care of business. If I couldn't reach T, then of course I knew what I had to do. As part of holding the place down is taking action without having to have someone guide your hand, right? But anyways, T wanted to give Caballo respect, so he asked him, and these were the exact words from Caballo. This cat owes me 3 pedazos, but he violated something that anybody that's been around knows. It's a no-no, unforgivable, right? Besides them funny charges. So go ahead and take him out, but I'm going to lose on 3 pedazos, so make sure they take his win, or they at least leave that mark, right? Without having to disrespect, but you guys know what mark. So that anywhere he goes, they just no coming back from it. So, I got that on my beat, and out of respect, I went to Spike from 18, Spanky, and I put it in their hands. And Spike's my respects, it's a knucklehead. He's just waiting for something, right? For those that know who I'm talking about, Spikes, he's all shot up. He's a fool. So he went back and the vato was done. Now, do I relate it to what happened? I don't know the goings or comings of what happened recently, right? But it got to the point where the same Pili that's being accused over here was in the shoe slam. For those that know how wet it was up there, he didn't have it like that, like others, right? Not to minimize. But for him to be so careful not to open that window on protecting somebody that disrespected that area, he preferred losing, 3 pedazos, which was at the time, his prices was 1,300. So that's $3,900 he preferred letting go than stepping in those boundaries. I know things has changed, but I think there's just one area that they're not gonna change, because again, there's a lot of PC moves that get done day by day. For example, there's some vatos that get tired of the program, right? But they have them well set between the legs. So, they will go to an area where they're into many camaradas and they go out there with a pili. I'm gonna go out with a bang, right? So in that aspect, they know they open that up, it's gonna ricochet in a lot of different ways, specifically on throwing his own brothers on his throat. So again, that a member finessed it to happen, that's a lie. You guys know I don't speak well of these individuals because, to this day, I love what the raza stands for. Of course, now it's whatever raza stands for, because Sur, Norte, Bulldogs, whatever, they have a true belief why they're there, right? That people manipulate that. So my thing, as you guys know, is with the ones they hold in that, But again, it's be careful with all them he said, she said, made up things, right? That's why the only thing I preach on here is to be wise, to be smart. At least, when you start hearing somebody speak about something, you have that enough head on your shoulders that by the time he's coming, you've gone went and came back and gone again. He can't fool you. My respects to everybody. The way they're doing YouTube, the way they're making their money, whatever. I'm not even gonna come on here and speak about, oh, he's only on YouTube because of the feria. He's only on YouTube with this. No. I'm specifically speaking about this and visiting, and it's not because of that person that I'm even speaking about it. I got multiple messages to touch on it on a personal basis, and that's why I'm doing so. and I hope I made sense. As you guys know, I went and got that shot, and it's been a long day, and I just finished alive, and I always go off the head, right? As you guys know, I never write nothing now. So to excuse all that the bumps on the names, I guess I'm just tired. And to be sincere, I had something different I wanted to touch on today when it comes to putting on my story. But again, I've been asked, and I don't want it to be like something in the past. I wanted to touch on it when it's relevant, right? So do forgive me for that. I don't think I think I should have gone out there for this earlier, but God's timing, right? Again, be wise. Don't allow people to put something out there and break them cycles. As for myself, right? I was chained to that. Someone put something out there and I roll with it till the wheels fall off. I learned the hard way. So just break them cycles. Staying on top of things. Muy buenas noches. Gracias everybody for your time. Please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. God bless. Buenas noches.